leaders want community input on the future of Spirit Valley and development in its neighborhood. Tonight was the first in a series of meetings to hear from people from West Duluth about what investments should be made to the neighborhood. Homeowners and business leaders shared what changes they want to see in this part of the city. The goal of these meetings is to come up with public and private investment ideas that will benefit those living and working there.
I think in general people are feeling like they miss some of the businesses that used to be in the area, primarily, especially the loss of the Kmart. People are also expressing an interest in seeing housing in the area. Housing in general is needed in the community, and so this will be an interesting exercise to find out, where housing makes the most sense.
A second community meeting will be held this spring. City leaders say if you cannot attend these in-person meetings, they want to hear feedback from you online. You can find a link to the survey right now on our website.
Still to come.